I'm a professional vocal athlete.
Yeah,
I have to take care of my body, especially it's different when you're 25 and you're spending a lot of time in bars and there's just a lot of temptation and, sometimes you succumb to that a little bit. And,
That'll be for the next episode.
Yes, right.
Welcome to a special edition of Larry and the Big Man. That is Jay Caulfield, 6'5", two-time Stanley Cup champion and Sportsnet hockey analyst. I'm Larry Richard from the Big K Morning Show at KDK, and this is Scott Blasey, who is an incredible talent from Connellsville, Pennsylvania, to superstardom. And we'll get into that in a minute. Want to thank Brian Hess, the head of One Team Media, Mark Coddington and Ryan Jurgen, who help us each and every episode produce what we've got.
And also Dave Rourke, right? We got Rourke and the Rourke Automotive Group. Thanks for being a part of it. And Tom Grealish with Henderson Brothers. And again, we're very appreciative of the support.
So Jay said to me, I don't know how many months ago, he goes, we had a chance to sit down with Scott Blasey and, this is an opportunity. And I think it's great because we do 99% sports guests.
Yeah.
And we just went through this series at Mario Lemieux's Fantasy Camp. We talked to all these great former players, and it was so much fun. But I find out that Jay is a real music buff.
Right.
So IUP, the Clarks, everybody knows the Clarks.
Around here for sure.
Everybody knows
whether
the
you
Clarks.
like it or not.
No, the staying power that you have had as a group, and each of you individually has been successful to some degree in your own right too.
Right.
Did you ever imagine when you started this that you'd still be sitting here talking about the Clarks?
40 years.
40
Never.
years.
40 years.
40 years.
We started in September 1986 at IUP. It was Rob and Dave, our drummer, who decided they wanted to start a band. And I had just picked up a guitar maybe a year earlier and was just learning how to do it. And I guess I looked like a singer, and they said, "Hey, do you want to join the band?" And I jumped right in and sort of trial by fire. And no, I never would have expected to be in this position after all
The
these years.
chief, Greg Joseph, half person from everybody. I
Right.
went to North Allegheny with his sister, my sister Nancy. The intersections are amazing.
Yeah.
But what is it about your music do you think that's connected and kept you viable for 4 decades?
Well, that's a great question, Larry. I tell this story. I do a lot of solo shows, and I tell this story about the song "Penny on the Floor." We had been together for a couple of years, and the songs we were writing were fast, loud rock and roll songs. And I had gone through a breakup with my college girlfriend, and I wrote this song, and it was sort of slow, and it was unlike the stuff that we were writing, and I didn't really think the band was going to think much of it, or they loved it and we recorded it and didn't really think there was an audience for it. And WDVE started playing it, and we quit our day jobs, and the song blew up, and we started playing regionally, started traveling around the country. It's a really hard question to answer as far as why. It just resonates with people, we've been just very fortunate. I think we've developed into good songwriters, and people react to it. The other thing I think too is we do shows, and we're very accessible to our audience. We hang out after shows. We talk to our fans. We've become friends with so many of them. That resonates with Pittsburghers. That sort of hometown blue collar ethic.
First of all, the ex-girlfriend missed out. Hey, Larry. Hey, boys. Right? She missed out.
The
Right?
one that got away.
Right? She got away. That's it.
She's probably thinking, whoa, I made a big mistake.
So writing, did that just come to you naturally? Was that just a natural feel or natural flow with it, or just?
Yes, I was very
kind of wild.
Yeah, very lucky. Songwriting is a whole different animal than sort of being a great guitar player, great instrumentalist. There's something about writing a song and being able to put your feelings, your emotions into those lyrics and put them to melodies. And I started writing songs really as soon as I started learning how to play other people's music. I jumped right in, and I sort of have this theory: you have to write 100 songs to get a good one. You have to write 1,000 to maybe get a great one. And so it's a craft. It's part craft and part inspiration. You have to work at it. You can pick up your guitar day after day after day, and nothing comes out of it. And then, eventually it's like, there it is. There's that little spark of inspiration.
So the first band, the Administration, right?
Yes.
First came up that way.
Right.
But that was more cover band, and it would just stay cover. That's you got to learn your trade somehow. Being in front of the audience,
Right.
everything that goes
Right.
with that.
Yeah.
A little bit about that.
Before Greg joined the band in '86, when we became the Clarks, we had a band called The Administration in 1985. It was myself, Rob, and Dave, and a different bass player and a saxophone player. And we were playing, sort of, lack of a better term, new wave covers, In Excess, Joe Jackson, English Beat, anything with had a saxophone in it. And just basically playing in fraternity basements and anywhere people would hire us for $100 and all the free beer you could drink, and it was a great way to meet girls, and that's how I got started. It really just to have fun. I never expected it to turn into a career, but yeah, you do have to start somewhere, and that's how it started for me. And then I was like, oh, I see how this is done as far as songwriting is concerned. I see how you construct a song.
I would think, Larry, like anything else, like you're now you're in front of an audience. Like, how do you carry yourself? What's your normal demeanor? Like, did you just go and be yourself? I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to try and do something I'm not. I would think the presence in front of an audience is a huge, huge part of it.
Right. I was really nervous at first. I was closing my eyes a lot and just sort of not real comfortable with that eye contact and putting yourself out there, because that's really what you're doing. I mean, you're really putting yourself out there in a big way. Yeah. But over the years, you start to open up, and I started to get more comfortable with being a front man of a band. So I'm a pretty laid back guy. I don't seek attention generally, but I, as a singer in a band, I guess there's part of me that's like, yes, give me attention.
That's a great
That's a good way to
place
say it.
to be.
Yeah.
If once you get the comfort level on stage,
Right.
and you have the confidence and have had it for so long now that your audience is they're happy to see you.
Oh.
And in the world we live in, they need a little diversion from
Right.
reality, and
Right.
they want to absorb the music. So when you get up there, that's got to be a really great feeling.
I thrive on it, Larry. It's one of the greatest human experiences that you can have. I seek out eye contact. I look at everybody. I connect with them on an emotional level, and I see people, certain songs, you'll see people, and it's not often, but you'll see them crying. I mean, music is a very powerful thing, and you'll see that emotional reaction. And I smile at people now. I fist bump. I'm very connected to our audience, and it's just one of the best things in my life.
That's kind of awesome, man.
One of my favorite is Shimmy Low.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of great songs, but for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
that song stuck with me the first time I heard it,
Right.
and I still love that song.
That's a Clark's classic.
It
Greg
is-
wrote that song.
Did he?
Yes, at a very low point in his life.
And then maybe that's why it resonated
Right,
with me.
right. I think that's why it resonates with a lot of people. They get it. We all go through difficult times, and melodically, the way the song soars in the chorus. I mean, it's kind of about being down in the dumps, but the music is very uplifting.
Do you think you got to go through? I think the ability to put down tough times on paper or in their music
Right.
has got to be very personal, very, probably the toughest, I would assume a tough part. You mentioned Greg writing a song at a downtime,
Right.
and you come up with something that's phenomenal. It's a huge part of it, I would
Yeah,
assume.
that's the big, really, most of our most popular songs all come from that place. Penny on the Floor, Breakup, Born Too Late, it was sort of down in the dumps. The band had been dropped by a record label, that kind of stuff. Shimmy Low. I wrote a song called Irene when my father was in the last weeks of his life. And so, yeah, there's definitely a lot of emotion to mine.
I can't tell you what I had for breakfast, but certain songs will come on. It's remarkable.
It is.
I
it
know
is
the
unbelievable.
lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm going back quite a few decades, and you hear the song and you can sing along in the car, and you're like, how do I remember this? I haven't heard this song in
Right.
how many years?
That's a really cool thing, that when you put lyrics to melodies, your ability to recall them is is much greater than, because people ask me all the time, how do you remember all those lyrics? I'm like, well, it's natural. But as I'm getting older, I've got a teleprompter now.
I can't imagine.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, I was just saying, just giving away a little bit, but Scott and I, Larry, were talking before the show and go, Scott, maybe we were going to do a little intro song or something like that. And he goes, let me write the song first and put the music. I'm like, Jesus, in my mind, I'm thinking, he's going to write a song first and then we're going to find what we want. I would never think that's just so natural to you. But the idea that you're going to write a song for Larry and I, and what we're doing here is pretty phenomenal, pretty special. But the idea of how talented, the talent to do that, Larry, right? Larry and I could come up with a jingle. We're like, oh yeah, sure.
I'm
How
envious.
brutal would that be?
Of the talent to be able to sing, play guitar, write songs. But I've got a suggested working title.
Yeah, go.
The Enforcer. I'll just leave it at that. When we were at fantasy camp, we had Ty Domi, Matthew Barnaby, and you should have seen the big man's face light up talking stories.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, they're great.
Ty Domi had what, 333 fights, the most in.
So by the way, he had 333, but that doesn't include training camp, because training camp in those years when you went to training camp, my first training camps were 100 and some guys. And of the 100 and some guys, there's 10 other guys that are trying to do the same job that you got. So then they break you into teams and you're like, okay, there's 4 to 5 guys on each of the teams. And it's guys showing what they're about. So you could probably add, I'll bet with Ty Domi, and maybe I will bet you between his fights in NHL, between playoff fights, that didn't include playoff fights, by the way, playoff training camp, I bet he's over 700. He's probably pushing 800 number as far as fights. And, he's very open to talk about it. But I'll bet you that's a number. Yeah.
He sat even closer than you are, Scott. And I didn't see too many scars. You just a couple of nicks. But for as many fights, I said, and he showed me how he did this is how I used to do it. I'm going, uh-oh. It pulled me in.
It's true. And Matthew Barnaby, the same, a little different styles. But, Scott, I find it all grind. And my daughters brought this up to me. They played basketball through college. And I know your daughter played basketball at Peters, right?
Right.
They won a Whitfield, right?
Last year, yes.
Yeah. So my daughter coaches Oakland Catholic. Larry's daughter, was assistant coach with Oakland Catholic. Larry's daughter played at Pine Richland.
Trained by Tim
McConnell. So we all can relate to Tim. But I find the grind of a music business and the grind of being an athlete, if you're lucky enough to make it to each level up, we see the great stories, but it's a grind. There's nothing easy about it. You never get a full comfortable ride. You're always pushing.
Oh yeah.
And I assume, and my daughter Chandler just made the comment. She really did. She made a comment. I bet Scott would say something like the music business, and there's similarities to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I was just talking to a friend about this recently. I'm a professional vocal athlete.
Yeah.
I have to take care of my body, especially it's different when you're 25, but now very aware of how I treat myself. I run, I'm athletic. I watch what I eat. I have to be very careful about how I use my voice when I'm not singing. Raising your voice, like yelling, is just really bad for you. So I have to be very careful with that. But to your point, when we were traveling around the country, and we did a lot of traveling, late 90s, early 2000s, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. And you have to be prepared to play, 4 or 5 nights a week, and you're spending a lot of time in bars, and there's just a lot of temptation, and sometimes you succumm to that a little bit. And
but for the next episode.
Yes, right.
No, but it's a great. No, it's a part of. It's right. It's a part of what you're doing in that world, and it's a lonely world, and it's. And I'm
sure sports is no different. There's temptation as well. You have to be, and if you want to be good, you have to be disciplined.
My dad drilled, and he was an Army guy, but he drilled in the 4 boys and my sister self-discipline. He told us, if you don't discipline yourself, circumstance or other people will, and you might not like the outcome that way.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I know, seriously, Jay was one of the hardest working athletes I've ever known. Ask anyone he played with. That's how he made it. And to stay in the music business that long, you're right. How many really talented artists went down, the rabbit hole?
Right.
Literally.
Right.
By not being that way, to enjoy it now.
Yeah.
You've spent this lifetime entertainment in that space and you can continue to do it.
Right.
But you've made a decision at some point to be that disciplined.
Yes, and it's benefited me. I sing better now than I ever have in my entire life. I've learned how to do it over the years, and the fact that I take care of myself. I'm at the top of my game.
I like that though, vocal athlete.
No, I did.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild how we are able to tie it all together, because I truly believe that. I often find too, you mentioned about going regional, right? And things like this. So early in your career. So Larry, think about it. You take the road, your show, morning show on the road, but you're going on the road and you're loved in Pittsburgh. But when you start to go outside of that box, if you will,
Right.
and trying to get people to know and love your music, that part's that's
Right.
a tough part as well,
It is.
to get them all to hear it, because what it takes, I can only imagine what it takes to get something on the radio or a record deal or
Right.
that kind of thing.
Especially back in the day.
Oh.
Right.
You needed radio to break through. And
Absolutely.
of course, DVE helped you do that.
Right.
They still play your
I
stuff.
still do, and DVE was a big catalyst, because when you're on DVE, suddenly Rocket 101 in Erie is like, oh, okay, who's this band from Pittsburgh that's getting on, and Glue 92 in Johnstown, and CD 101 in Columbus, and that regional thing starts to spread a little bit, and then you have to go to those towns, and you have to perform for those people. And then, we started touring nationally, and we started doing shows in places we had never been to, and it's a humbling experience. I mean, we've been in
When they don't
Oxford, Mississippi for
have any
15
connection.
people, and there's no radio support, and that's when you have to just buckle down and do your show, and maybe
Skill
you gain
takes over. Your
yeah,
skill set
yeah,
takes over.
yeah. Maybe you gain a couple of new fans, and then you go back again the following year, and there's a couple more people, and
I
you have to
remember-
build it organically.
going to a Dan Fogelberg show at Civic Arena, and one of the lines that always stuck with me in Auld Lang Syne was he ran into his ex-girlfriend,
Right.
and he said the travel audiences are, the good part, but the travel's hell.
Exactly.
And
The 2 hours on stage make it all worthwhile. The other hours are kind of rough. Now, don't get me wrong. There were certainly times where it was a great experience, and I've been to places that I never would have gone to. I've seen a lot of the country. I've been in every major city multiple times. You
Yeah.
could drop me off in DC or San Francisco, anywhere, and I've been here before. I'm familiar. Athletes are the same way.
Yeah, it's true.
The traveling, and so that's a really cool thing to be able to see the country.
A lot of people, we when you're traveling playing hockey, it's a lot of times, oh, did you go do this? A lot of times for us, it's you fly in, you bus to the hotel, you have your meal, and maybe go out to dinner, back to the hotel, morning skate. You're not getting a chance to go out and see. You have many days, but I do think the idea that you've been so many places to me is always awesome. And I think one thing too, Scott, different levels. Like in National Hockey League, you're flying everywhere, 5-star hotels, everything's great. Your per diems higher. And then you're still, some guys are great hockey players that just don't get the break. They're in the minors. Busing, carrying your own equipment, per diem is nowhere near what your per diem was, and you're making less as well. And they're just one step away.
Right.
So that's kind of the part. It's a part that we hear about the minors with the Penguins and things like that, but that part of going up and down or whatever it is, you taste the high life, and then you can be back down riding a bus. And I'm sure there's experiences. And I wonder too, like when you're on a set and you're in a city that you can feel it, maybe they're just trying to learn it. Do you ever go to a cover? Do you ever, when you're doing your set, do you ever come into something that to change the mode? Would you ever come into a good cover song that you like?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. See, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, you can adapt a little bit. I mean, we sort of had our set for each night, but yeah, there were times where it's like, hey, let's play "Kiss" by Prince right here. Let's engage these people that maybe they don't really know this Clark's material as well. So
yeah,
let's draw them in.
Now, we talked about maybe singing a couple songs too, but we've got there's so much to talk about with you, Scott. But I mean, when you do your solo, when you're doing like on your acoustic, you sang with your daughter a lot,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. What a wonderful experience that is.
Oh, it is.
I mean, what's your favorite song between the two of you when you're singing together?
Greg wrote another terrific song called Roses. Now, all three of my daughters are musically inclined and have beautiful voices. Ava, our middle daughter, is a freshman at Point Park. She's a musical theater major. She's in the conservatory, and she's very, very talented.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So she sang last summer at Stage AE. sang a song called Roses that Greg wrote. And I have to disconnect a little bit, because if I don't, the emotion of it can be overwhelming, and then your throat tightens up, and you're like, you don't want to.
I saw you on Pittsburgh Today Live.
Yes, that was.
I could see in your face the pride and joy you have for her.
There is nothing
That
like
was
it, man.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then your oldest daughter, full circle loop to IUP, about to graduate.
Going to graduate the end
What's
of the
she
summer.
want to do?
She is doing a lot of this. She's a communications media major, and she's got a great internship. And she's going to be doing audio production.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm very
have her
proud of
visit One Team Media
Yeah.
at some point.
I said to her, I said, I know a lot of people in these industries. She's like, nope, I'll take care of this myself.
You're good, Dad. I got
Yep,
this.
I got
that's
this.
pretty good,
I
though.
got this,
That's
which
good.
was really great.
Yeah, I think that's kind of special.
Who were some of your favorite artists over
Growing
the
up?
years? Yeah, and who you've also been able to meet.
Well, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was like the band when I was a teenager growing up that I thought, wow, he was my first concert, Stanley Theater, 1980.
Coming to the Stanley Theater, one night only.
Dude, that's great.
DeCesar Engler presents Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers with Scott Blasey.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. So he was always a big one. Prince,
What a talent.
Oh, just a musical genius. And I was fortunate enough to get to see him in 2004 at Mellon Arena on the Musicology tour. And I was right down on the floor, and it was a stage in the round in the middle. And then they had 4 spokes going out where he could walk out. And I was, 15 feet away from him on a few occasions. And that was pretty special.
You've covered like Bruce Springsteen and things like that.
Sure.
So give an idea, like if you cover, what do you have to go through to be able to do that? Is there a contract between you and Bruce, or can you just?
If you record
Yeah.
their music, yes, you have to go. There are agencies where you have to pay like a licensing fee.
Okay, but the river, to me, the river,
Yeah.
it's such a song that even
Right.
resonates, and mentioned Johnson, all the things that
Right.
go with that. So how was that? Just the feel
We
of it?
were approached. There was a record company that did a Bruce Springsteen tribute album. I think it was in late 90s, 99 maybe.
Yeah.
Joe Grishecki, Elvis Costello, big time artists.
Donnie Harris.
Donnie wasn't on that one, but he's as big as they get in my world.
He's the only one
you
that has a birthday in March, and they celebrate it for 6 months. Donnie.
The luck of the iris.
We did this event for the late Ambassador Rooney and his wife, the Ireland Fun Dinner at Akershire, and they have Donnie Irish as the band, and they play Irish songs, and their goal is to meet the Donnie Lama. I said, I'm going to try to make that happen. So I know Donnie. We went to Italy with Bruno Sammartino and Jimmy Crenn.
Right.
And I said, Donnie, you got to meet. Yeah, man, Larry, I'll be happy to meet those guys sometime.
You just have to go to Jurgles. He'll be at the
Cigar
cigar bar.
Right.
That's right.
I love that guy. But he's and talking about that kind of stuff, who maybe you've met. I mean, Donnie was a musical hero of mine. I remember when Back on the Streets came out, and Ali was a hit song in 1980. I'm a 10th grader. I had my Panasonic boombox, and I'm playing basketball. I take the boombox on the team bus, and I blast, Donnie Harris, Prince, Tom Petty. He was right there. I had no idea he was a Western Pennsylvania guy. Years later, I met him. We're friends. He texts me from time to time, and it's just.
And did you collaborate with something? Did you guys work together?
Yeah,
on something?
I've recorded with him, and we've done
How good
shows
is that?
together, and just
awesome.
He's just
That
the sweetest
song-
guy in the world.
Ali, that's one of those songs that never gets old.
No,
And that's always the measure for him. Can Donnie hit the high note at the end?
he's remarkable. I mean, what, 82, 83 years old now, and still down on his knees. I couldn't get up. If I was
I was emceeing a show on Anna Marie Island. It's in the Gulf near Bradenton, and Donnie brought the house down, and he opened with the rapper.
Yeah.
And there was this young guy working the sound, and he goes, "Man, that guy's really rolling." I go, "Do you know how old that man is?" And he goes, "No." I go, "Like, he's 82. The guy goes, "What?" He had no idea.
Well, that whole group of guys, Steve Hansen's a good friend of both of ours, and it's Donnie Iris. It was Ricky Wachowski.
Yeah.
Play all these because it was all tied to B.E. Taylor. I mean,
Right.
well, we started going to B.E. Taylor shows, right?
The Christmas
Christmas
show in
shows,
particular.
but I think the unique blend of Western Pennsylvania, the talent that's come out of there music wise
Right.
is phenomenal. So
I agree.
I mean, I think being a part of that, Scott, is pretty special, which leads you to all these things. And we're jumping around a lot, but I got to tell you, the song, when you watch The Pit and the Clarks, like, to me, how good is that? Like, how big is that? How did you feel when that came up?
That's one of the hottest shows
I
going.
know.
Right.
And it's obviously, for those that don't know, it's a streaming show. It's in its second season. Noah Wiley is the lead. It's set really at Allegheny General Hospital, even though they shoot most of it. But it looks and feels like Pittsburgh.
Right.
And the song is all Pittsburgh.
And the way, especially the way he's
How did
coming
that
into
come
it.
about?
He's on a motorcycle. He's riding in.
Yeah, he's on a
The way
motorcycle.
it comes in, it's perfect.
Cruising
Yeah.
across the bridges in the city.
Well, last summer I had been hearing about the show. It was after the first season had finished, and I always liked medical dramas, and I knew there was the Pittsburgh angle, so I thought, oh, I'll watch this, and I loved it. And I was talking to our manager in New York, and he had watched it, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, I love it, except there's not enough Yinzer accents, first of all, and there's no Clarks." And he said, "Let me see what I can do."
How awesome is that?
So he knew one of the executive producers, and he sort of put the bug in her ear. And then another executive producer, Scott Gemmell, who's like the showrunner, who really is involved in the day-to-day. He started researching Pittsburgh bands, came upon our band, loved it, loved that song in particular, and it was really him who decided, hey, we're gonna have the Clarks be a part of this. I couldn't believe it when our manager said, hey, they're gonna probably use Better Off Without You at the very beginning of the first episode of the second season. And it was just I felt like, January 8th is when it aired, 9:00. I'm sitting in the chair, my wife and our youngest daughter are there, and my wife's filming it on the, I felt like I won the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm standing in the living
You
room
had to.
because
I get
the screen is black and it's HBO Presents, and you hear Dave's drums. And as soon as the guitars and the vocals hit, it's, you probably saw it. It's
I did see it.
the Pittsburgh skyline, the pit, and my voice, and I was just like, man, 40 years, and that's the biggest exposure that we've ever had. I mean, it was
Millions
remarkable.
of people around the world.
And you can quantify that. Our Spotify listenership doubled in the month after that.
That is,
I mean,
So you're an
so
overnight
awesome.
success in 40 years.
40 years overnight success.
that's awesome.
That's
a
got to
great
be a
stuff.
cool feeling.
It was just remarkable, and it's not life changing. It's not like suddenly we're out on the road playing arenas or anything. But it just the music industry these days, with Spotify, and we're not getting rich off of it. But there's a secondary effect that suddenly my solo shows are selling out faster. Clark's tickets are selling faster. I mean, there's just more interest in the band.
Absolutely.
And it's phenomenal.
It's the music business has changed so dramatically. Back when we were talking about getting on the radio, get your song, that was the only way
Right.
to get that kind of exposure.
Right.
But now there's so many different ways. And I'm sure you ran, like we did, the National Record Mart to get the latest album from your artist, because there was real artistry to the album
Right.
cover itself, for
Absolutely.
starters.
Yeah.
And then you'd tell everybody, hey, I just got Pink Floyd or whatever. And that doesn't exist anymore.
Yep.
How did artists now even make it? I know Billie Eilish and her brother,
TikTok.
they made, or
Is it?
Justin Bieber got discovered
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Or the lead singer
Right,
for
right.
Journey
Right.
got
Yeah.
discovered on YouTube.
Right.
How do you make money anymore like that as an artist?
Well, you have to be able to parlay that into people coming to see you live, I think. And I'm just from a different era.
Yeah,
So
you're
if somebody
not in a
said to me,
place-
how do we make, I'd be like, I don't know. You need to
Right.
talk to somebody else, because I don't know what to do. I do know that social media drives so much now that record companies, they're not interested if you don't have mega followers already. You have to build the base, and then maybe they'll be interested. And from what I know, and it's not a lot, TikTok is the FM radio of today. I mean, that's how kids discover music. My kids, I'll hear them singing a Fleetwood Mac song, and I'm like, how do you know that song? And they're like, TikTok.
That's almost, yeah,
You know,
that's
so
crazy.
Yeah, that one girl that sings that sounds like
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
just-
she
That's pretty
that's
good.
how she broke through. I
Yeah.
forget her name, but
Yeah.
she sang one of the Fleetwood Mac songs, and that got her noticed.
I know that video that you're talking about.
Yeah,
She's
Stevie
phenomenal.
everybody
Stevie
knows
Yeah,
that
yeah.
video.
Yeah,
Right, right.
Yeah,
And you're
Stevie
like, how does
Stevie.
that happen?
Right.
That's
You know-
it's a rough road though to find. How does that then become a point where you can make a living
Right.
doing it? Is a
Right.
big difference.
Yep.
I will say, I still will go back. I'm going to go back to the song with the pit. It's the most. It's a powerful. Everybody, I'm sure everybody in Pittsburgh that's watching that, seeing that, felt the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, truly,
I got a lot
everybody's.
of,
Oh,
a lot of
some-
text messages, a lot of messages on social media. A lot of people knew because we had put it out, you know, that hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
But there were definitely people that didn't know, and I got texts like, "Oh my God, I'm watching the pit," and
It's awesome.
I almost started crying.
I
'cause
was
heard the
happy. I
chorus.
was excited and happy
Yeah.
for you
Thank
because
you.
actually the big man told me.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I find it be, and it was a powerful. It was a great song for that clip.
Yeah.
For what we saw.
Right.
Coming in the pit. So, and also, you know, I'm going to go back onto the idea of doing the national anthem. You know, at a Steeler game.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the Penguins, a song that was for the Penguins in 2009.
Right.
That's what I mean. I think this area though, there's something special about Pittsburgh. We said it every time we're on this thing, but there's something special about the Pittsburgh area. When you tie it to sports, there's something awesome about it. It goes to a different level.
Right.
I just feel.
Please rise and honor America and welcome Scott Blasey.
See you, Larry.
You sound just like that guy.
Guy, I'm a disembodied voice, better heard and not seen.
Larry.
In most cases, when I meet people, they're always like, I said, I'm 6'5" on the radio. Meanwhile, I'm envious of that kind of musical talent. And
Well-
you brought your guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But real quick though, before that,
Yeah.
get in that intermissions at the Winter Classic game.
Oh yeah.
So again, remember the Winter Classic, the one that Sid got hurt in, but it was the
That was
Winter Classic.
2009, I think.
It might have been 11, 10 or
Or
11,
11,
2011.
that's what it was, that's what it was.
2011.
Yeah, yeah.
So all that goes with it, and then we'll lead to the guitar. But I just think all those things are so fascinating and amazing to be a part of, and you know, to get the call to do that.
Yeah.
It's outstanding.
Our association with the Penguins has just been phenomenal. They've been so good to the band, using our version of "What a Wonderful World."
Yeah.
You know, they play it at the end after home victories, and for the first couple years, it was all over their promotional videos, and it's just really an honor to be.
And then in the
connected- to
building, when you had
connect-
the band's
Yeah.
in the building,
Yeah,
which
we've done,
walked.
Yeah, we've done quite a few
I
events
think
with
it's
them.
phenomenal. So Larry, go ahead. You can lead him to.
Now I want to hear a little something. I mean,
Yeah, let's.
Scott brought the guitar. I see it.
Yep, it's
You
right
see it.
there.
All right, Scott and Jay, this is my Jimmy Roach imitation. I'm going to introduce this song, make it official. Howdy, this is Jimmy Roach, WDVE. Here's Scott Blasey and What a Wonderful World.
Well, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and clouds of white and bright sunny days and dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What they're really saying is, I love you. And I see babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, 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 yeah. myself, what a wonderful world, a wonderful, wonderful, a wonderful, wonderful world, a wonderful, wonderful, a wonderful world.
That's awesome, baby. That's awesome. Every Pence fan
Ladies
will
and
just-
gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building.
That's awesome. So many times we're doing our post game show, and I hear it because we're in section 117 in the bowl, and they can hear that each time. It's awesome. That was awesome, Scott.
All right, you have another one?
Yeah.
Just tune here real quick.
Here's Scott Blasey, Born Too Late, mini concert. TV.
Vincent, will you teach me how to paint? Teresa, will I ever be a saint? And John, I really think your songs are great. I was born too late. And William, will you teach me how to write? And Cassius, will you show me how to fight? And Thomas, say, I think I see the light. I was born tonight. I've had a hard time leaving this town. I've been losing everything that I've found. I'm gonna search the sky, kiss the ground, build it up and tear it back down. And Jimmy, show me how you play that thing. And Elvis, will I ever be a king? And Jerry, all the joy and love you bring. I was born to sing. Martin Luther King, show me the way. Jesus, Buddha, teach me how to pray. Christopher, I think I see the bay. I was born today. I've had a hard time leaving this town. I've been losing everything that I've found. I'm gonna search the sky, kiss the ground, build it up and tear it back down. I've had a hard time leaving this place. I've been counting all the lines on my face. I'm gonna curse the sky, hit the ground. What goes up comes tumbling down. Tumbling down. Tumbling down. Tumbling down.
Born
awesome,
Too
man.
Late.
That's
Awesome.
phenomenal.
Bravo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. Thanks
Yeah,
so
it's one of my
much.
favorites. You're
Yeah, it's the lyrics are. I mean,
Yeah.
it just I think everybody can just relate to it, roll to it. It's awesome.
Right.
Really good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Saturday, April 4th.
Yeah.
Penn Theater in
Penn
Butler.
Theater. That's a great little theater.
Love it there.
The people behind that have spent a lot of time bringing it back to life. And we were talking before the show how much that means to little communities around the region to get those theaters going, like the Strand in Zealand and
Right.
the Oaks in Oakmont, some of the other places. So get your tickets now.
Well, it's
Well,
sold out.
You can't get tickets now.
That's a good thing. But, if I can just quickly plug scottblasey.com, you can go there and listing of shows and links to my music and videos and links to social media if people want to follow me and find out where I'm playing in the future.
So Scott has been good enough to work on a little.
Yeah.
We're going to have a song like The Pit has, at some point, you let us
Larry
know.
and the Big Man. I'm working on it already. It's already in there. It's in there.
Scott,
That's awesome, Scott.
continued success, man. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Larry.
your time.
Oh, my
this is a
friend.
lot of
Great
fun.
to see you. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you very
Thanks
much
for having me.
No,
Scott Blasey,
thank
check
you
him
so
out
much.
online, and check us out online. A lot of great content. You never know who might show up. We want to thank One Team Media and Brian Hess, Mark Coddington, Ryan Jorgen, who helped produce each and every episode and make us look as good as humanly possible. And Odyssey Pittsburgh, Michael Spatchipoli.
Also, Dave Rourke, the Rourke Automotive Group, lifetime state inspections, lifetime oil change, lifetime engine warranty. They're great from beginning to end. Also, Tom Gross with Henderson Brothers. Larry, a little bit more about that?
Experience the power of partnership with HendersonBrothers.com.
By the way, there's one other thing. A Yinzer dog, our Yinzer dog tailgate package, we've created that. Larry, what's in our Yinzer dog
Well, I'm
tailgate?
glad you asked, Jay. An original Yinzer dog package with Stanley P. Kachowski Kilbasi from Jimmy Kren, Babushka Mama Pierogies, and Yinzer Halushki. And you're going to get a little tailgate package for us.
Oh, nice.
We like that, yeah.
Love
That's our thing. We created that for during Steelers season, and we had a Yinzer Dog of the Week. We did but we did come up with one stipulation: if you're over 300 pounds and you won that award, you got 2 of them. So that's our deal.
We even sent one
Jack
to this
Lambert.
guy,
Oh, wow.
and he sent this. Look
Oh,
where he
that's so
autographed
great.
the Jack Lambert. So
Scott, thanks so much, Scott. Really,
Jay.
Scott
truly
Blasey,
appreciate
and
it.
Larry.
that's a wrap.